Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. We've got to talk about this because I genuinely cannot believe the WNBA posted this and somehow nobody over there caught it before it went live. Like, seriously, this might be one of the strangest statistical errors I have ever seen from an official sports account. And the craziest part is that it completely takes away from what should have been a huge moment for Paige Bueckers. So the WNBA posts this graphic saying that Paige Bueckers became only the second player in WNBA history, alongside Kelsey Plum, to record 772 points and 216 assists through 40 career games. And immediately I looked at it and thought, wait a second, what? Because the Paige Bueckers part is absolutely correct. That's not the issue. Paige has been phenomenal. She's been outstanding offensively, she's scoring at a ridiculous pace, and statistically, she has had one of the best starts to a career we've ever seen from a guard. That's all real. But the problem is them trying to attach Kelsey Plum to this record when it literally makes no sense historically. And look, I already know what some people are going to say. Oh, you're hating on Paige. No, not even remotely. If anything, I think this post actually hurts Paige because it takes away from how unique her accomplishment actually is. Instead of simply saying, Paige Bueckers just did something historic, they tried to force a comparison that apparently never even happened. And honestly, this feels like one of those classic Thaddeus Young stats. If you guys remember that famous NBA graphic, it was one of the funniest stats ever posted. They had the super specific category where the only players included were Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, LeBron James, and then randomly Thaddeus Young. And everyone was laughing because the stat was so oddly specific that it felt completely manufactured. Now, to be fair, sports media does this all the time. The NBA does it, ESPN does it, the WNBA definitely does it, and honestly, a lot of the records surrounding Caitlin Clark have been cherry-picked too. You'll see things like first rookie with 23 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds on a Tuesday night after traveling across 2 time zones. Like, come on. So usually, I wouldn't even care that much about this kind of stuff because sports stats are constantly manipulated to sound more impressive. But this situation is different. This isn't a cherry-picked stat. This appears to be completely false because once you actually do the math, the numbers completely fall apart. The WNBA claimed that Kelsey Plum also reached 772 points and 216 assists through 40 career games. Okay, cool. But to score 772 points in 40 games, you need to average 19.3 points per game. Now let's look at reality. Kelsey Plum averaged 8.5 points per game during her rookie season. Not 18.5, not 19.5, 8.5. That's less than half the pace needed for this supposed record. So I started doing the math because I thought maybe there was some weird technicality involved. Maybe they meant starts instead of games. Maybe they accidentally included playoff stats. Maybe there was some bizarre stat correction. But no matter how you calculate it, it still doesn't work. Through 31 games at 8.5 points per game, Kelsey Plum would have had roughly 264 points. So now, let's subtract that from 772. 772 minus 264 equals 508 points remaining. That means she would have needed to score 508 points over her next 9 games to actually reach that total through 40 games. 508 divided by 9 equals 56 points per game. 56 points per game. That is absurd. That's basically asking somebody to break the WNBA scoring record every single night for over a week straight. And then I went even further because I thought maybe I had calculated something wrong. But nope, even through the first 62 games of her career, Kelsey Plum still only had around 558 points total. So again, what exactly are they talking about? This isn't even close. We're not talking about a 20-point discrepancy here. We're talking hundreds hundreds of points off. And what makes this even funnier is the fact that people immediately started trying to defend it online. I saw comments saying, they meant first 40 starts. Okay, but that still doesn't help, because Kelsey Plum started 50 games across her first 2 seasons anyway. Even if you count every single one of those starts, she still was nowhere near 772 points and 216 assists. So that explanation completely collapses too. And honestly, this is where the frustration comes in for me. Because this should have been a simple layup for the WNBA. You have one of the most talented young guards we've seen in years in Paige Bueckers absolutely cooking defenses and putting together a historic offensive start to her career. That alone is enough. You do not need to invent a comparison. You do not need to manufacture a statistic. You do not need to force her into some fake historical category. Just celebrate what she's doing. That's it. Instead, they created controversy for absolutely no reason. And naturally, once fans realized the numbers didn't add up, everybody started questioning the credibility of the stat department entirely. I literally saw someone comment, "This must have been generated by ChatGPT and never fact-checked." And honestly, I laughed, because at this point, I genuinely don't know how something like this gets approved. Like, nobody checked the numbers. Nobody in the entire process said, "Hey, are we sure Kelsey Plum actually did this?" Because all it takes is 5 minutes of research. 5 minutes! And the crazy part is that there were actually real historical names they could have used if they wanted a legendary comparison. Maybe Diana Taurasi, maybe Maya Moore, maybe Simone Augustus, maybe even somebody from older eras that casual fans don't immediately remember. But once you actually look through the numbers, none of them fit either. That's because what Paige Bueckers is doing, statistically, is genuinely unique. She didn't join somebody, she created her own category. And that's what makes this whole thing so bizarre. Why are they so desperate to attach her accomplishment to somebody else? Why not just say, Paige Bueckers becomes the first player in WNBA history to reach these totals through 40 games. Boom! Done. That's cleaner, that's more impressive, and most importantly, it's actually true. But instead, now the conversation isn't even about how good Paige has been. The conversation is about whether the WNBA accidentally posted fake information. And again, this is not me attacking Paige Bueckers. This is not me attacking Caitlin Clark. And honestly, it's not even really an attack on Kelsey Plum either. Because to be fair to Kelsey, everybody knows her story. Early in her career, people absolutely called her a draft bust. People said she was overhyped coming out of college. People questioned whether she could translate her scoring to the WNBA level. And then eventually, she developed into an elite player. That's her story. So it makes even less sense to randomly attach her to a stat category that clearly doesn't match her early career production. It's just weird. And unfortunately, this is becoming a pattern where the WNBA keeps creating unnecessary drama around stats, comparisons, and narratives instead of simply letting the basketball speak for itself. Because the basketball is already good enough. Paige Bueckers is special. Caitlin Clark is special. Kelsey Plum became special. You don't need fake stats to prove any of that. But anyway, let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think this was just a mistake? Do you think somebody genuinely mixed up the numbers? Or do you think the WNBA just completely dropped the ball on this one? And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because we've got a lot more videos coming soon.